Well, good morning. It's 8:40 now, and the news hit with a splash. A study had found a link between cell phones and cancer. That was the headline. But what exactly is the link, and what risk for us right now? Joining us live, Ron Melnick. He's a toxicologist who helped design the study at the National Toxicology Program. And, Ron, thanks so much for joining us in WTOP. We appreciate you being with us.
Thank you for including me.
Now, you were quoted in the Wall Street Journal as saying that where people were saying there's no risk, meaning a risk of cancer from cell phones, I think this ends that kind of statement. So you feel fairly confident that there is a link that has been drawn?
Yes, I do. The study that was conducted by the NTP was intended to test the hypothesis that cell phone radiation could not cause any health effects. The findings in this study indicate that there were increased incidences of two types of cancer. One was glioma, and the other was schwannoma of the heart. Glioma is a brain tumor.
And even though these were low incidences, you think it's enough for us to maybe change the way we think about this issue?
Well, I think it's important that the regulatory agencies now make strong recommendations to consumers to take precautionary measures to avoid contact with cell phones and especially limit use by children.
Well, you know what, though? We all see something to the contrary. I mean, very young children seem to have their own cell phones, and they're either in their hand, in which, you know, they're looking at them, or they're to their ear and they're conversing on them. Not that mom and dad aren't doing the same thing. We use them so much. They're so common in our society. What can we do between now and the near future to make it safer?
Well, first of all, the cell phone is not a toy, and parents should be aware of that. But at this point, I would strongly recommend people to use speaker instead of holding the cell phone next to their head. In fact, I've told my children that many years ago, and I think that recommendation should go forward to all consumers.
Why do you think that no studies have found some finding like this before? Why did it take this study to come up with this sort of groundbreaking finding?
Well, first of all, there are human studies, epidemiological studies, which have found some relationships between cell phone use and acoustic neuromas and gliomas in people. The study conducted by the NTP was the National Toxicology Program, was much larger in terms of the number of animals, longer exposure, and the animals were free roaming during their exposures. They were not constrained, so there were more hours of exposure per day. Remember, we're testing the hypothesis that cell phone radiation could not cause a health effect, so we intended to have as good a challenge as possible to that hypothesis.
Well, we really appreciate you joining us this morning. Everyone has a keen interest in this, and as we mentioned before, the ubiquitous nature of the cell phone in our modern society. We appreciate you joining us. Ron Melnick, a toxicologist, he helped design this study at the National Toxicology Program.
It's 8:44.
I'm not a college student. I don't have a